Welcome to Waxahachie, Mr. Saylor White.
Thank you very much. We'll see you later. It's all downhill from there, so. When my son was like 8 years old or something like that, we were driving in the car, and I don't remember what I said to him, but he had some kind of he asked a question, and I told him the answer. And he said, Dad, he said, how did you get to know all this stuff? You know, and of course, obviously, it was because I was 40 years older than he was or whatever. I kind of answered his question years later when I wrote this song, and it was kind of written for him. I see you looking at me as if you think I know a secret or an answer for how life ebbs and flows. Is that what you want from me? I can hold you when you're crying, I can pray when you feel lost, and if you reach a desperate end, I can build a bridge across. Is that what you want from me? I don't think I know. I don't think I know the way. But the blind can lead the blind sometimes and still come out okay. Hey, okay. Sometimes I think we're angels who've slipped and fallen down. We need to raise each other's wings to rise above this ground. Is that what you want from me? I don't think I know. I don't think I know the way. But the blind can lead the blind sometimes and still come out okay. Hey, okay. I want to say thanks before I get too old and forget to do it to Randy and Helen, very gracious people inviting us here, and you know, you waxed my car, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, it was great. Let's do Old Eyes.
All right.
I'm in a slow mood right now, kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I was a young man, full of desire, you loved me with wisdom, explaining the fires. You told me that true love was a lifelong thing. It wouldn't waver, and it wouldn't change. Old eyes, old eyes. Tell me, will I ever be that wise? You said to be humble, slow to anger and speak, to withhold a promise that my heart couldn't keep. You said to be faithful, what I believe, that evil was clever and I might be deceived. Old eyes, old eyes. Tell me, will I ever be that wise? Old eyes, how did I forget that you had crossed the river and my feet were barely wet? Thank you for trying to open my eyes. Though I didn't listen, you weren't surprised. The journey we take is the journey we choose. Is it ever too late, Lord, to walk in your shoes? Old eyes, old eyes. Tell me, will I ever be that wise? Old eyes, how did I forget that you had crossed the river and my feet were barely wet? You had crossed the river and my feet were barely wet. I'm going to cheat on this song. I have a partner that we play with a lot, and I don't sing the verses that he sings, so I don't know them.
Oh,
I
I
can
see
type
it. You've got a
them.
cheat
Yeah,
sheet.
this is his verses.
That's,
I know mine. You know what we're doing?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. I lived a short life with a long wife. I've had a stone in my shoe. I've had a soft clutch, had a car with bad clutch, and I've had this love for you. I've had a bad night and perfect hindsight. Yeah, lost everything, a time or two. I've had them say no, tell me where I can go, and I've had this love for you. You've been a bright star inside this dark bar where I was born and I was raised. You've been my one prayer for light and clean air, and my hope for a brighter day. I've had a sad thought, nightly onslaught of little demons lined about what's true. I've had a deep wish for Jonah's big fish, and I've had this love for you. I've had a payday, slept in the doorway, been round the block a time or two. I've had to tiptoe, sneak through the window, and I've had this love for you. I have been a bright star inside this dark bar where I was born and I was raised. You've been my one prayer for light and clean air, and my hope for a bright day. I've had some savoir-faire, been called a derriere.
As recently this afternoon.
Search my soul through and through. I've been a have-not, but I found the sweet spot, and I've had this love for you. I've had this love for you. I've had this love for you. That's Ron Welch on the guitar.
Yeah.
Part of my 20-year plan. I have a friend, I'll tell you. He worked, I don't want to dramatize this part of it. I knew him, okay? He was somebody that I knew. I do part of a radio show in Houston for KPFT where we have guests come on and we talk to them and they play songs. And this guy his name is Matt Helfrich, and he was a really kind guy. He came up there, he was kind of mentally challenged or something, but nonetheless, he came up there and helped us do the radio show at times, and he was murdered last week, which was a surprise because I can't think of anybody less likely to be murdered. You know, I mean, I just can't imagine what the motivation was for that. And I don't want to use him for that, but it reminds me of the idea, and I remember after 9/11, I mean, everybody had a lot of different feelings about what we needed to do and everything, but the thing that stuck out with me is that what's the last thing you said to somebody? Period. And then you don't see them again. You say something to them and they go away. What was the last thing you said? And this is kind of about that. There's a light that comes every morning with the dawn, and you know that the day will go on. You make plans and promise for tomorrow what you'll do. You don't know if tomorrow's light will shine from you. What's the last thing you said to the one that you love? What's the last thought you held in your heart? What's the last thing you said to the one that you love? That's what they will remember when you part. So you sleep, certain you will see tomorrow's sun, but you don't know if your will be done. What's the last thing you said to the one that you love? What's the last thought you held in your heart? What's the last thing you said to the one that you love? That's what they will remember when you part. What's the last thing you said to the one that you love? That's what they will remember.
That's a good one.
Actually, you really played well. I was just thinking about that. I mean, it's not hard for me to forget things, but
Oh, God. You guys, come on, man.
I was, every person who does any kind of creative work probably gets a lot of their ideas while they're driving a car, and there's nothing new about that. What I did learn is this, though. There was a time when I was much younger, I could sit there and create a whole song or something in my head and remember it, get home, and write it down. It doesn't work that way anymore. And I'll tell you why, because I've gotten better at coming up with 2 lines that say a whole lot. And I used to think of lots of lines to try to say something simple. And I'll get 1 or 2 lines, and that's all I really need to, I'm going, okay, I got it. And I'll tell you what, if I don't write it down, here's what happens. I go home and write about the 2 lines. I say, well, what I said in those 2 lines was 2 lines, and I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to blah, 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 and I missed the 2 lines. I don't have the 2 lines anymore. So the idea is, for whatever it's worth, write it down. I have to tell myself to stop and write it down. Or they gave me one of those little recorders, those little digital recorders. And they work great, except that you've got to be a genius to store them, I mean, technology is cool. I like it, but it gets to the point that it's harder to do that than it is just to write it down, Anyway, I was driving down the road, or wherever I was. I always say that's probably when it happened, because it probably did. And I had this idea, and it said the idea came in. And I think it's like it was a sign, and I just looked at it because I didn't make it up. It's just something that showed up. There's a windburned sailor in a macrame boat trying hard to keep the holy thing afloat. And I thought, wow, that's cool. There's a wind-burned sailor in a macrame boat, which of course is full of holes, trying hard to keep the holy thing afloat. And then I also thought of holy as maybe meaning a couple different things. And I had that for a very long time, and I said, what am I going to do with that? I mean, where do you go with that? And I don't remember how this particular thing happened, but at least to me, I found those things that tied it all together. And the chorus kind of says what those people are about. So it may or may not work for you. It works for me, but that's because, it's true for me. It may not be true for you. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a wind-burned sailor in a macrame boat, trying hard to keep the holy thing afloat. Didn't he read the directions they wrote? Ooh. There's a long-legged lover with a memory span, not much longer than the palm of her hand. Can't remember which one is her man. Ooh. There's a man in the mirror, doesn't want to be seen, very rarely ever keeps the mirror clean. Think I know just what it means. Ooh. There's a naked lady in a laundromat, a full attire is a baseball hat. She says she's lost her Persian cat. Ooh. And me, I know the feeling. I've done it all. Me, I know the feeling of trying to escape these padded walls. There's a man in the tree singing night-out songs, trying to find out where his love belongs, beating himself for all his wrongs. Ooh. There's a lonely lady in a one-way room, candlelight dances with a 6-foot broom. It's much too dark for love to bloom. Ooh. And me, I know the feeling. Hey, I've done it all. Me, I know the feeling of trying to escape these padded walls, of trying to escape these padded walls. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. There's a few songs that we did earlier today for the little radio thing, or I don't mean little, excuse me, the major production that occurred here. They're also going to be part of what we do tonight, but I'm trying to space them out so if you were here, maybe you forgot them. That's my plan.
Maybe we just want to hear them again.
Well, that's a good way to look at it, I guess, but I'm hoping for forgetfulness. That's just because I'm used to it. For whatever it's worth, this is as close as it comes to a true story that's not true that I know of. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. give you a rose now, my lady. I'm afraid it's a withering kind. I found it alone and unnoticed. Finders or keepers in my frame of mind. Perhaps it was worn by a duchess or a debutante out on the town who thought that its beauty had faded simply because it was brown. I'll panhandle money for dinner. I'll share it with you if you like. I've a bottle 1/4 full of liquor. It's cheap, but it still holds a bite. We can dine in the cool of the evening on an apple crate table and chairs. We'll pretend that the tin cans are crystal and you'll wear my rose in your hair. We can dance in the alley at moonlight when the stars reflect off the walls. I'll be your prince for the evening when you're queen of the alley dance ball. Back in the days now forgotten, I was once quite handsome and tall. But turns in I fade or forgotten by things that we can't quite recall. I could waltz with the best of the best then, and I dressed with an elegant flair. You might not can tell now by looking, but I once passed for Freddie Astaire. We can dance in the alley at moonlight when the stars reflect off the walls. I'll be your prince for the evening when you're queen of the alley dance ball. So I'll give you a rose now, my lady. I'm afraid it's a withering kind. I found it alone and unnoticed. Finders are keepers in my frame of mind.
Saylor White.
Lessons learned about ill-fated love. And all but the last one is ill-fated, you know. And I'm real clear now that it's never one person's fault, though. No matter what when somebody tells me a story about how horrible the other person is, they may be right, but that doesn't make that there weren't two horrible people there. At that moment, anyway. You ready?
Yes, sir.
2, 3, 4. If I get through this one, we may not be able to play anymore. Well, I went into the church and I knelt down to pray. It was you I called on, saved my soul that day. And if Jesus wouldn't heal me, I thought for sure you would. If Jesus wouldn't cure me, I thought for sure you could. If only I loved God this much, I would be a happy man. If only I loved God this much, I would be in the promised land. Well, I lit a couple candles, and then I lit some more, hoping you could see me prostrate on the floor. And I begged for your indulgence, heard you laugh at me, as if I'd be so foolish to think you'd set me free. If only I loved God this much, I would be a happy man. If only I loved God this much, I would be in the promised land. Thou shalt have no graven image stand between us here and now. Thou shalt have no graven image stand between us, I and now. Well, I walked out of the church feeling angry and ashamed to know I prayed for mercy, and I did it in your name. And that's when I remembered what I knew to be true: the Savior's in this life. Thank God it's not you. If only I loved God this much, I would be a happy man. I love God this much, I'd be in the promised land. And thou shalt have no graven image stand between us here and now. Thou shalt have no graven image stand between us, I and thou. If only I loved God this much, I would be a happy man. If only I loved God this much, I would be in the promised land.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're very merciful. What can I tell you? I could have used a little extra voice to hit a couple of those notes, but you know what?
Well, I mean, you had some great.
I'm playing horseshoe music.
guys were-
This is horseshoe music. If you come close, you get 9 points. You may not get 10, but you get 9. You know? That's all I can do right now. We're going to do something a little lighter first. Okay, we're going to do a love song.
Okay.
This is kind of a corny song. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I wrote it when I was, desperately trying to get somebody back. And all she said was, your guitar was out of tune.
I think I met her.
Well, it was. It was out of tune. So, but I do this just to remind me of who I was some other time ago. Well, I'm still that guy, but I'm just lucky nobody knows it. Neither do I. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that you'll find a lover who will suit your aching needs. He will say you are precious, just like you were to me. He may take you to Paris, Monte Carlo, or Seville. He may make you the queen of his heart. Darling, I know that he will. But he'll never write you a love song. He'll never put his heart in a melody. He'll never write you a love song. He'll never love you like me. He may talk to you sweetly, touch you gently with his hands. He may listen intently and say that he understands. He may buy you a diamond or a castle on a hill. He may make you the queen of his heart. Darling, I hope that he will. But he'll never write you a love song. He'll never put his heart in a melody. He'll never write you a love song. He'll never love you like me. He may call you his angel and help you spread your wings. He may keep you happy with the many gifts he brings. He may love you completely with a love that's deep and still. He may make you the queen of his heart. Darling, I pray that he will. But he'll never write you a love song. He'll never put his heart in a melody. He'll never write you a love song. He'll never love you like me. No, he'll never write you a love song. He'll never put his heart in a melody. He'll never write you a love song. He'll never love you like me. Thank you. I lived in northeast Texas, which is Kilgore and that area. We used to come up to Dallas a lot. You know, our family, once a year, we came here to go shopping because all we had was, Bill's, whatever it is, one of those places. So we come up here and my dad bought a 1955 Buick, which was a Buick Century, which was one of the fastest cars at that point in time. That and the 55 Ford and the Chevrolet. So what we'd do, we'd put 3 different projects together. Number one, we came up here to buy school supplies and clothes, okay? We came up to visit his mother, and we come up here to drag race the car. And so we would take off from Kilgore, and, this was a time where people threw trash out the window. You'd have big bags of trash, and we'd be going 80 miles an hour, and it'd just fly out the window,
I think they really thought it would just, if you attained a certain speed, it would just disappear into the,
right, that it wouldn't be there anymore. My dad also managed to, we're going 80 miles an hour, and he would slam on the brakes when somebody was behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Which the kids really...
I still do that.
There was no seat belts or anything. And you just bounce around the seat. And then we'd go to the drag race car, and he'd just throw our butts out, and he'd be drag racing the car and have numbers on it and all that stuff. I don't remember what our number was, but now I'll tell you how ignorant I was. When I moved to Houston, what I remembered is every time we went to the drag races, they would be towing a vehicle. A lot of people would tow their vehicle up there. And it would have a name, okay, like Jack's Rabbit or something, I don't know, something that signified that it was a race car. I would see these cars there, and there'd be a sign on the back of them that said "in tow" when I got to Houston. And I said, man, a lot of people are naming their drag car. I'm serious as I can be. The other thing was,
I don't care who you are. That's funny.
I did not know what a frontage road was. Okay, and I remember telling Wendy, I said, that's the longest road I've everywhere we went. And I'm serious. I hate to admit. It reminds me, I was dating a girl then whose father was the president of an oil computer company thing that had just gotten work in China. And they took us to the top of that hotel by the famous place by the Memorial Park.
Oh, the Shamrock.
Yeah, well, it was a place for the presidents, and so we got to go up there. I'd never been to a place like that before. This guy rode around this cart with shrimp on it. They were big shrimp. They looked like hot dogs, And I'm telling you, I gorged. I just gorged. And he kept looking over at me. He finally looked over. He said, look, I know you haven't been to the big city before, but he said, have you ever eaten before? Is this the first? Anyway, that has nothing to do with what I'm about to play, but yes, it does. It does only in this way. One of the things I found driving down the road is people put strange signs up. And there's a church just outside of Moscow, Texas. And the guy had a sign up and it said, "Naked Ladies and Dirty Movies." And it was a church. So obviously he had a sermon about naked ladies and dirty movies.
That was to get him into the church.
Yeah, I guess, And I said, I don't remember exactly how many times I passed that church. But one day I was doing a song and it came out Naked Ladies and Dirty Movies, and this is it. This is more in my rock and roll days, though. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I was riding down the highway, way to Tennessee, lost in a reflection about how my life could be. Well, I was feeling hungry and my eyes were growing tired. I was thinking about the cause and the effects of my desire. Well, I was thinking about stopping, getting food and rest, thinking about my old friends and the woman I love best. Well, I saw a big sign flashing. I was grateful for the sight, but it wasn't what I thought it was when I pulled in that night. naked ladies in dirty movies. What the road sign said, anything you need to satisfy is only 5 miles ahead. Hey, we got women that'll heat you up, drinks that'll cool you down. Anything you need to satisfy, boy, this is where it's found. It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. Where the neon lights, they're a sign of the times. Well, there was a time not long ago I might have pulled in. No one else would have to know. It would be my secret sin. But I pulled in a time or two to drink and get my fill. And I left there feeling empty, and I guess I always will. Naked ladies in dirty movies, what the road sign said, anything you need to satisfy is only 5 miles ahead. Hey, we got women that'll heat you up, drinks that'll cool you down. Anything you need to satisfy, boy, this is where it's found. It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. Where the neon lies, they're a sign of the times. They're a sign of the times. They're a sign of the times. Where the neon lies, hey, they're a sign of the times. Watch those signs, Ronnie. He's getting pulled over there.
All right.
Okay. Yes, whatever you. Yes, yes, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you left, you weren't unkind. You said you need to search your heart to know your mind. And when you've seen all you can see, you may want to come home to me. If you feel cold, you grow tired, if you finally find your passion and your fire, I will wait here patiently. If you need to come home to me, I know you needed time just for yourself. Too often, women live their lives for someone else. And I can't tell you I understand everything you feel, and I know that it's been hard, and I know your pain is real. Walk alone, find another heart that's closer to your own. I will wait here patiently. If you never come home to me, I know you needed time just for yourself. Too often women live their lives for someone else, and I can't tell you I understand everything you feel. Well, I know that it's been hard, and I know your pain is real. No, I can't tell you I understand everything you feel, but I know that it's been hard, and I pray your pain will heal. We'll take a short break. Ron said he has to go to the bathroom. And
No, he has to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Somebody other than me.
It's okay. It went too long. Never mind.
Well, now I've already said it, and my word is my bond. We're taking a short break.